They're everywhere. Water plants. Refineries. Your home. Even your washing machine. Today, we're breaking down the world's most common machine, the centrifugal pump. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn how it works, how to read its performance curve, and how to avoid its number one enemy, cavitation. Let's dive in. Chapter 1, The Core Principle. A centrifugal pump converts mechanical energy from a motor into hydraulic energy, that's flow and pressure. Step 1, Suction. Fluid enters the center of the impeller, called the eye, because the spinning action creates a low-pressure zone that pulls liquid in. Step 2, Acceleration. The impeller blades catch the fluid and spin it outward at high speed. This is centrifugal force in action, giving the fluid kinetic energy. Step 3, Conversion. The volute casing, that's the spiral-shaped housing, slows the fluid down. And when velocity drops, pressure rises. That's Bernoulli's principle at work. Chapter 2, Pump Anatomy. Let's identify the key components. So we invite you to carefully read the names of the different components of the centrifugal pump. The impeller, the heart of the pump. 3 types: open impellers handle dirty, slurry liquids. Semi-open for medium conditions. Closed impellers are most efficient for clean liquids. The volute, that's the spiral casing. It collects the high-speed fluid and converts that velocity into pressure as the flow area increases. The shaft transmits torque from motor to impeller. The seal prevents leaks. Modern pumps use mechanical seals, reliable and clean. Older designs use gland packing, which needs a slight drip for cooling. Bearings support the shaft and absorb both radial and axial loads. Proper bearing maintenance is critical for pump longevity. Chapter 3, The Performance Curve. This is the pump's ID card. The main curve, head versus flow. It slopes downward. At low flow, the pump generates high pressure. At high flow, pressure drops. You can't have maximum flow and maximum head simultaneously. Okay. To summarize, we're going to combine several curves into a single graph. The power curve shows motor consumption. Here's a pro tip: for standard radial pumps, power is actually lowest at zero flow. This is why you start with the discharge valve closed. The efficiency curve, shaped like a bell. The peak is the BEP, best efficiency point. Always operate near the BEP. Running too far left or right causes recirculation, vibration, and premature wear. But the pump doesn't work alone. The system curve represents your piping, friction and elevation. Where the pump curve and system curve intersect? That's your actual operating point. We've reached the end of the first part of our video series about centrifugal pumps. If you have any questions or suggestions for improvement, please leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching, stay tuned for future videos, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.